Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books. Today we are talking about Dan Lin being out of consideration. He will not be heading up DC TV and film. He will not be in charge of that. Why? Well, we're going to have to find out. We're going to get into this article in CNBC. This did just come out. Lego movie producer Dan Lin won't take DC film and TV chief role at Warner Brothers. Let's get into the article. Before we do, please do be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up when you like it. It really is a huge help. Dan Lin, who had been in talks, now these are just the key points. Dan Lin, who had been in talks to take over Warner Brothers Discovery's DC Comics film unit and TV, isn't taking the job after all. He had produced films such as The Lego Movie and the two-part big screen adaptation of Stephen King's It. Warner Brothers has been looking for someone to steady the ship at the DC film division and become a new Kevin Feige, as it aims to capture the kind of consistent success enjoyed by Disney's Marvel Studios. Maybe they can't find one person to do what Feige did. Maybe they kind of need a team of like 3 people. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Movie producer Dan Lin, who had been in talks to become head of Warner Brothers Discovery's DC Comics film and TV unit, won't take the job after all, according to people familiar with the matter. The two sides ended negotiations without reaching a deal, but they still like each other. The news comes during a tumultuous time for the newly formed Warner Brothers Discovery. CEO David Zaslav has been attempting to remake Warner Media after merging it with Discovery in April, including layoffs and content eliminations from streaming service HBO Max. Shares are down about 50% since the merger closed. The shares being down was expected. What they don't tell you here is that AT&T, when they got rid of their ownership of Warner Media and merged it into Discovery Plus, it was 70% of the combined company. So Warner Brothers Discovery was owned by the former AT&T's shareholders. So when the shareholders got the stock, they were like, hey, I didn't buy this stock. I bought the AT&T stock. Well, what is this? I don't want this. So they got it for free. The shareholders, it was like a dividend type of thing. So they just sold it for cash, which put a lot of selling pressure on the company. Anyways, after discussing a potential offer from Warner Brothers, Lin had decided to stay at Ryback, the film and television company he founded and runs, the people said, who asked not to be named because the talks were private. He has produced such films as The Lego Movie and we just covered this, the 2 big part screen adaptation for Stephen King's It. A spokesperson from Warner Brothers Discovery declined to comment. Lin immediately couldn't be reached for comment. He's not going to comment either. The 49-year-old young man, producer, was a favorite to take on the role, with expectations that Lin would report directly to Zaslav and bypass division heads at HBO and HBO Max, Warner Brothers TV, and Warner Brothers Pictures. Contract discussions ran into complications because of Lin's ownership of Ryback, his own production company, and how Warner Brothers Discovery would compensate him for that, 2 of the people said. Because he's running his own production company. He's got deals in the works. He's already making millions on this, millions on that. So he would have to somehow not work on Ryback anymore and really focus on all the DC projects, which wasn't necessarily going to be an easy thing to do. It was all of film, all of TV. There isn't a clear direction as to what they're doing except saying copy what Kevin Feige did. So how's he going to do that? 49 years young, but still, that's a lot of work. Maybe not worth it for him. The 2 sides exchanged term sheets, which is just like offerings of deals. And Lin wanted to keep Ryback operational with an equity stake owned by Warner Brothers Discovery, one of the people said. Both parties decided to move on after negotiations bogged down, one of the people said. Zaslav has been looking for someone to steady the ship at the DC film division. Ain't gonna be Dan Lin. Home to superheroes such as Wonder Woman and Superman and Warner Brothers. Well, what about Batman? Discovery aims to capture the kind of consistent success enjoyed by Disney's Marvel Studios. Warner Brothers recently moved its Aquaman sequel, which was set for March 2023 release, to December 2023. The Flash, also set for release next year, is under a cloud of controversy due to its star, Ezra Miller, facing several allegations, including child grooming, which is not good. Zaslav pulled the nearly complete Batgirl from its HBO Max release slate, which we've heard about, enabling the company to take a write-off and not be embarrassed by a terrible movie. In April, it was reported that Zaslav had approached Emma Watts, a former top film executive at 20th Century Studios and Paramount, to take the mantle, but that Watts did not want to take the job. Warner Brothers Discovery is speaking to several other candidates for the job, one of the people said. Zaslav personally met with Lin in his attempt to convince him to take the job, another person said. Zaslav has recently discussed his desire to build a long-term, much stronger, sustainable growth business out of DC that focuses on quality. That's very attractive sounding. The executive is eyeing a reset of the DC cinematic universe that would set up a 10-year plan for the franchise. Zaslav tapped Hollywood producer Alan Horn in July to act in a consultant role to help the CEO navigate the film business. Horn, a well-respected executive and Disney veteran, was with the Disney company when it began shaping its Marvel Cinematic Universe and the relaunch of the Star Wars film franchise. That Star Wars film franchise, which is no longer pretty much in existence. He also helped bring the Hobbit films to the big screen, as well as the 8-film Harry Potter film franchise and Chris Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. So he's done a lot of stuff. I've seen people comment on my videos earlier. They didn't seem so wild about Dan Lin. He looks good next to Lego Batman. Maybe that's his thing, like these one-off silly projects, rather than being in charge of legacy characters with an incredible history like the DC brand. Let me know what you think of that in the comments below. This was from a little earlier today, Bounding in Comics. Apparently, Dan Lin called the Snyderverse fans bots. I'll have a link to this in the description below. Ray. I'll have a link to the description below for all these articles. And see what you think, but he's not the heir apparent anymore for TV and film unit. It's going to have to be somebody else. All right, I will see you again soon with another video, and if I don't see you, I will miss you.